he shouldn't have opened. He didn't have to open his church. It's like, dude, he's 16,000 people.
Yeah.
It's a church, for God's sake.
Well, it's I mean, again, Jew. So maybe I took the wrong meaning when I read the New Testament, but pretty sure, there's like Jesus had this whole message about treating the least among us as
the
you
meek.
would.
Yeah.
That's the problem with prosperity gospel. Jesus said the meek shall inherit the earth, and prosperity gospel preachers said, not if we can help it.
It's I know
it's ridiculous.
Well, there's just, and I just saw down the street. There's one of those Oasis churches. I'm sorry, just down the street. It's one of those old. We're right here on Wilshire Boulevard.
I used to go to that church.
Did you?
Oasis Christian Church. They used to be on Wilshire.
Is that not like a? It's still here.
Yeah, and shockingly to me, it has nothing to do with Britpop from the '90s. I was very upset with that. I'm like, where's the
like
Gallagher
franchise,
brothers? Where's the
isn't
cigarettes and alcohol?
It's like a franchise.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right? It's like
Jesus.
Yeah, it's like a Jesus franchise.
Yeah.
There's Oasis. There's Mosaic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy, and
I'm sorry.
People forget that those churches are started by the pastor, which pretty much means he owns it.
Yeah.
He's the CEO, and you're not going to get rid of him, and you're paying his salary.
That's right.
By the time it's all set, and because he's not being charged any taxes. That's why. That's why. That's right. That was the number one occupation for a while. Start a church.
Hell, I wish I had.
Yeah.
It's
as a half Jew, I could have.
We were talking before the show. Well, I joked. I posted on Facebook this week that I'm starting a new religion, and while I'm mostly looking for cash donations, I could use your prayers. And a lot of people just didn't. I'm like, hey, really? That one's too smart for the room. But you look as if waiting to open the doors of his church wasn't bad enough. Then, once there were flood victims seeking relief in Joel Osteen's church, they passed the collection plate. They asked these people for money.
Yeah.
And, it's... not to claim, that I'm coming, or, I'm going to speak for at least half of you, that there's the Jewish notion of tzedakah, of charity, is that you give anonymously. Which it begs the question, so why are so many hospital wings named after Jews, and what's with all the plaques? I don't know. But, I can't defend it all. But the notion that you give anonymously, you don't give because you want to be recognized for giving. You give because you see the need, and you have the means to fulfill it.
But I would add, though, honestly, I wouldn't doubt that people put money in that collection plate.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because here's the other thing I would say, and the reason why these people succeed, the Joel Osteens of the world, is people want to be enslaved. They want to be told, you need to put money in. You're not worthy. You're not, they want to be enslaved. They want to be dictated to. Mm-hmm. They want to be given a certain direction. I mean, don't you think? I don't know.
Well,
I think people are afraid of freedom. They're afraid of
but like, as I said,
not having rules.
Right,
and these people give them some kind of rules.
Well, that's the whole thing behind, you as an individual or you joining a group.
Well, exactly.
To feel, I'm supposed to feel like I'm a part of something.
That's right.
But everything starts with you. So if you can't deal with you, why would you join the group? You don't want to deal with you. Why? Because our world tells us to focus on everything outside of you instead of you focusing on the inner.
That's right.
And build that up first so you can have the freedom. The blinders will come off. You will be able to deal and say, whoa, that's some bullshit. I shouldn't be doing that. Well, you can't. You got blinders on. No. That's why you can't see.
Right.
And these guys can
But it's
catch
easier,
you.
and it's easier to have the blinders on.
Right.
It's easier to do that.
Well,
and blame
I think to an extent,
right.
it's sometimes better when you're talking about these batshit crazy Christians, folks like Rick Santorum, who there's so many things wrong with him, but making the argument that allowing gay marriage is going to lead to bestiality and child molestation. I guarantee that the majority of the people who are fighting for marriage equality don't even spend, a second of their day thinking about bestiality.
No.
This is why, and, not to suggest that every religious Christian is, fucking weird to the extent that they should be locked up. But these are the ones. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good thing to try for a little while. But, nobody's bringing up bestiality. No one's thinking about that except for you guys.
That's right.
And I think that's the psychology behind this urge to, mandate the laws around marriage and sex, is because you guys spend all your time thinking about the worst case scenario. And you figure, well, if I'm thinking about it, that must be what nobody else is thinking about it. No. It's just you freaky bastards.
Right.
You're the ones who want to fuck dogs or whatever you guys do.
Yeah.
You're afraid that if people are given a little bit of freedom, they are going to live up to your worst fantasies.
Well, these are the same people who were telling folks they were, that took Hypatia and cut her up, and when she was talking about she was the astrologer. Hypatia was a mathematician, an astrologer, and they, when they burned down the
who is this in the Bible?
It's actually in the when Alexander the Great tried to build Alexandria, he had a giant. He wanted to bring all the smartest people in the world to Alexandria, and this is where they had the massive library of all the knowledge and everything. He conquered Egypt, but not to rape and pillage, but to absorb all the knowledge that they had, because they were such advanced people. He didn't want to kill folks. He wanted their knowledge, and so what they did, when Christendom came in, they went and killed the astrologers and everything. And Hypatia was a great mathematician, and she was the first to show people, how the sun and the moon and everything. They said she was a witch, and they ripped her arms off of her and burned her at the stake. Those is the thinking. These are the same people that said those type of things that Dave just said. These are those people today who have that same type of thinking.
That's right.
These are the all lives matter people.
Right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and so they're because it was different.
Fear-based.
Right.
It's fear-based.
There's a
movement.
There is a movement of the flat Earth movement.
Oh,
Have
God.
you heard about these people?
I wish Jim Coughlin were here for this show, because he's been doing a lot of research into this.
And a lot of guys, but it's the same type of thinking. They believe that the world is flat, and they're lying to us. It doesn't spin. Yeah. Even though you can talk to Neil deGrasse, Neil can put shit out. They said, nope. The brothers from the hood are saying, nope, it's flat, bro. Okay. Most deaf, and even the basketball players are coming out. Kyrie Irving believes that the world is flat. Yeah.
It's
that's where we're going. It's a lot of mental illness.
Yeah.
It's ignorance.
Well, it's ignorance,
it shouldn't have to be said. Ignorance is not a virtue.
No.
And this is this is what Americans need
defiant,
to know.
But this is like defiant ignorance. Do you know what I mean? It's defiant ignorance. I mean, at a certain point, you can't argue with these people. It takes on a whole life of its own based on almost. Yeah, I know. It's just.
Well,
I can't even speak to
the white man.
I can't.
The white man.
Yeah.
Okay. Always the white man. Yeah, they used to say blame it on the brother.
Listen, the white man has done a lot. I get it, but and I fully believe that. But yeah, I don't know about the Earth being flat.
Yeah,
I know about it. And
well,
remember,
remember Sherry
Exactly.
Remember, Sherry Shepherd came out and she was a flat Earth person, and she said that that we that nothing precedes Jesus.
Yeah, that ain't right.
I can't.
You know what? And here's the thing that.
It makes me sad
I understand
when I hear that shit.
the idea behind Christianity, it's a missionary religion. You're supposed to bring it, spread the word, whatever. But Christians need to realize that, A, you need to be more Christian. Mm-hmm. We're not seeing enough turning of the other cheek. We're not seeing that. But learn to live. You want to say, hate the sin, love the sinner. Mm-hmm. That shouldn't be tough love.
Right.
If you're going to love the sinner, you got to do it on mutual terms.
Right.
It's not just a thing of, well, I'm beating you because I love you. I'm beating you for your own good. That doesn't wash in relationships. That doesn't wash in religion disputes between individuals.
Well, the missionaries were actually brought into countries so they could come in and find out how to, because you had to learn to get them to drop their guard, so you can find out about them, and then you learn to conquer them. That's how they got Hawaii.
Yep.
You had to learn how to. You got to learn how to send in send in the missionaries. Yes, okay. And next thing you know, hey, we got the country. What do you mean?
It at least starts with a good idea that, well, the missionaries are expendable. Just real quick, because so many of our conversations devolve into talk about film and what have you. Did either of you guys see Silence? Martin Scorsese movie with I'm blanking, but it was basically Apocalypse Then, but it was two Catholic ministers go to feudal Japan to try and save their.
I've been trying to see that movie. I haven't seen it.
It's really long. It's deliberately slowly paced, but it's a tough one.
Liam Neeson is in that. Yeah.
It's kind of a tough one to sit through, but it's one of those. I saw it. It was funny. I saw it last year on Christmas because. Two Jews getting Chinese food and going to see a movie about Catholic missionaries. If that ain't the meaning of Christmas in L.A., I don't know what is. But my last anecdote for the day, before we wrap things up, back before I moved out to L.A., I used to bartend in a bar restaurant in Chicago, and it was one of those buildings that a lot of big cities have where it's like office and residential, and you got your mini city in the lobby. There was our bar restaurant. There's a video rental place across the lobby from us. There's a pharmacy, travel agent. It was like, I remember when Y2K was potentially going to go down. I was bartending on New Year's. And so my friends were like, aren't you worried about Y2K? I'm like, you know what? First of all, no. But second of all, if it does happen, I am working in a fully stocked restaurant and bar. There is a great supermarket just down the hall in the lobby. There's an awesome pharmacy at the other end of the building. And if Y2K does happen, anyone who stayed home is going to have to deal with the elevators, which aren't working. So that means that in addition to working in the restaurant bar, I've got first dibs on either the supermarket or the pharmacy, whichever I choose. So, no, I'm going to be just fine if anything goes down, And there's a guy at the video store across the lobby that we used to have conversations, debates. And one of the conversations that we got into that very quickly turned into a debate was he was coming at the problem from a religious side, from a I would like to say Judeo-Christian, but it was the Christian side of things, about helping people. And, be it an alcoholic, someone who may not want your help. And he was basically coming at it from the angle of, no, you have to force your help upon them. And I was trying to come at it from the more rational standpoint of that's not going to work. They have to realize that they need help. So you have to come at it from their angle. If you want to help someone who doesn't want your help, you have to approach them from, if not a midpoint, from their side. Because that is the only way you're going, So basically he was trying to be a missionary, forcing his help in the interest of helping someone, which, as anyone who's dealt with that in any situation knows, is not helpful at all.
Yeah.
And you are, if you genuinely do want to help someone for the sake of helping them and not for the sake of saying that you helped them, you got to meet them midway. You cannot force your values down their throat. It doesn't work like that. No. You do that, what do you get? Well, in the case that you brought up, Tymon, you get a lot of dead Hawaiians. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which ultimately not so cool.
Yeah.
Firewater and smallpox blankets they're an effective way to take over a country. Is it a good way to do it? Not so much.
I was going to say to you that we forgot two stories. the gay porn star spy who pledged allegiance to ISIS. They had one of those. And also the history of